Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It is Monday evening and today was notable due to the amount of things on the internet that crashed. Seemingly it was AWS, commonly known, Amazon World Services. And I remember reading a while ago that a lot of people obviously know Amazon for the shopping. That's where I mainly knew it from. But that behind that was this huge um, interconnected, apps. Um, it was what a lot of things were based on, a lot of computer, like apps and things. See, obviously I don't understand it totally, but a lot of stuff runs on their systems. And that was shown today by the amount of things that crashed, from banking apps to gaming apps to Canva to, silly little things like that. I'm pretty sure Family 360 is on it as well because it was useless today. I had dropped my car off at the garage. It needs the final tyre replaced and my headlight is not working. And I have to say the garage guy and I were laughing because I was like, quite sure I could YouTube how to change the headlamp bulb. And he's like, what if it's not the headlamp bulb? And I was like, yeah, that's why I've got you. So we've put the car in to get it fixed. And Kathleen hadn't arrived by the time I got there after work. So my normal is look her up on 360, see where she is. No, it had her going back and forward within like a mile. It just kept going back and forward. So that wasn't much good. But I know that there will have been a lot of people where this was really, really problematic. And I have to agree with some of the stuff. Well, it's not some of the stuff. I basically caught one headline that said some person, don't know whether it was a minister in the UK or a senator in the UK, I don't know who it was, but somebody had seemingly said this is the problem with so much depending on so little. So it's so many companies depending on this one company. And if this one company goes down, there is so much affected by that. And it made me think, and that is one of the reasons why I got a wood burner. Because best of all in the world, even before I removed the central heating, although my meter wasn't a smart meter, it was one of the ones that was radio controlled from the central place, or signal control. I don't know. They sent a signal and it put my water heater on and stuff, and my heating. And I didn't like the fact that could get cut off, and I could be left with nothing, no heat, no power, no nothing, because this house is completely electric, or it was, until I got the wood burner put in. So initially, while I was saving for the wood burner, I bought a Calor gas heater. And I was quite conscious of buying the one that was cast iron, because I remembered at Mum and Dad's, they had what we call the super serres, the square heaters that you put the gas bottle in the back. And they were great for heating up the room. But as soon as you switched them off, the heat went away. Within 20 minutes, you were like, yeah, it's getting cold again. So we got the cast iron Calor gas heater. That made a big difference. And eventually saved up to put the wood burner here. And that's why over the years, and it's probably why I started the channel, part of why I started the channel, is that I was wary. I was wary of what happens if it all goes, that somebody else has control of this. If I'm reliant on the electricity, and best of all in the world, a lot of our electricity here in Scotland still goes through wires that are at the side of roads, and if we have a storm, tree falls down on them and thousands of people have no power. And that makes me wary. So now, having had today when so many things went down, and I was like, yeah, I'm okay. If the power goes out, it's gone out a few times since I've had the stove. We've got the torches, we've got the battery operated radio. If the banking goes down, which I think it was Halifax went down today for a while, I don't have a lot of cash, but I have emergency cash. I've got like £20 to put petrol in the car if I have to or something. So it's just something that I've always done. Well, not always done, but I've done in the last few years. And it's just been that niggle at the back of my head. Just, don't like being reliant on a few different things. And today it certainly showed with the Amazon World Service that there are a lot of companies relying on Amazon, on what Amazon is doing. And if it goes down, that's a lot that goes down. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think it's a good idea to be relatively self-reliant. I mean, there's some things that you can't change. That's just the way that they work. For a lot of people nowadays, like parking your car, it has to be done over the phone. They don't have machines that take cash anymore. Those things, whether Ringo was still working today or not, I'm not sure. But those things, there's not much you can do about. But there's other places where it's like, no, I'd prefer to use cash there. Definitely with smaller businesses, that it's like one-man bands, I'd much rather use cash so that they don't have to pay the percentage fee for the cards. Big supermarkets, I'm not that bothered about. But definitely today has made me think and made me feel quite pleased that I have other options. I have my power pack. I have a solar solar panel for my power pack, which is probably useless in the Scottish winter. Haven't actually tried it in winter yet, but yeah, just in case, I think is a very good idea. So yeah, I hope nobody got affected too badly by today. I understand it's all fixed now, or most of it's fixed. I have just put the wood burner on because it is getting colder here, and looking at the temperatures or the predicted temperatures on my phone for the next week, it's like, yeah, it's going to get colder. So there's no point in sitting cold tonight when the house is going to be cold tomorrow. I'd be as well putting some heat in it tonight. So I've just started the stove. That took me 2 goes. I'm quite sure the stove knew I bought firelighters. So yeah, I'm going to go and make myself a cup of tea, sit in the cosy warm, and I will catch you later.